the acting CEO, Mr. Saud of ANZ, CEO Tourism Fiji, Yolinda Chen, our very able trade commissioner, who's recently gone to Shanghai and is doing a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me much pleasure to be here this evening. I'd like to thank ANZ for the invitation. The wonderful thing about speaking last is that when you, in particular when you have such articulate speakers before you, you don't really have to say much, in particular when you're multilinguist. Ladies and gentlemen, I think in order to have confidence in any financial system, in order to have confidence in any payment gateway, and indeed to have any confidence in a whether it's remittances, whether it's to do with credit card transactions, you need to have a well-regulated system. You need to have a well-regulated framework within which financial institutions operate in. And Fiji is very proud in that sense to have a very well-regulated financial system, governed of course by the Reserve Bank of Fiji. And I think that's one of the attractions for UnionPay to be in Fiji, and I think it's very important that Fiji continues to position itself with a very transparent, regulated financial system. Of course, by having a multiplicity of payment systems, it does enable transactions to take place, or increased transactions to take place. In this particular instance, of course, we have the ability of Chinese tourists, Chinese businesses, to be able to access funds that they would normally not be able to do so. And UnionPay, of course, will be able to facilitate that. In a similar fashion, of course, it feeds into the tourism industry, where Tourism Fiji, of course, has got a strategy to enter the Chinese market, as has been highlighted earlier on. The Chinese are at the moment the largest outbound market in the world. And Fiji, of course, as you know, through Fiji Airways flies directly to Shanghai. We are hoping that we are able to reach consensus with the Chinese government, where we'll be able to commence direct flights to Beijing and code share with Air China. And that is really one of the goals. The chairman of Fiji Airways is here. And we hope that comes through, because it will not only give us another level of connectivity to the rest of the world, but be able to connect us to another part of China, which we think is fairly affluent also, and you have a particular lifestyle that probably needs to escape the hustle and bustle of northern China, including Beijing, to come to Fiji. So all in all, ladies and gentlemen, these sorts of partnerships, the arrangements, in particular with a credible bank like ANZ, UnionPay, of course, has paved its way to be not just a good partner with ANZ, but also be a great facilitator in enhancing trade and commerce, and of course tourism arrivals between our two countries. Of course, as the acting CEO of ANZ highlighted, there are many Fijians who also do travel to China, whether for leisure or whether it's also for short business trips. And I think that creates a lot of synergy between both the countries. The other thing that I would like to also mention, take the opportunity, that Fiji, of course, is the hub of the Pacific. And by enhancing the type of facilities that are available in Fiji, you are able to then have a footprint in the rest of the Pacific. And the reality is, like with ANZ being in many other Pacific Island countries, and if you have your main hub country having those facilities, those provide the lead. Recently I was in Frankfurt last week, where I did have a discussion with a number of the Pacific Island ministers, and talking about, for example, taking the opportunity of the direct flights that Fiji has commenced with Singapore, that if we do want to attract European tourists, we simply don't market Fiji itself, but we should be able to be in a position to market Pacific Island countries. So somebody, say, traveling from Netherlands would like to travel to all that distance to Fiji, but also the other Pacific Island countries. So we need to be able to package our tourism visits in that fashion. Similarly, we could of course do it with the Chinese tourists. I mean, the reality is that in a globalized world, we need to be able to share resources and be able to market ourselves in particular as a region. I think it is of course very, very important to highlight and say a few good things about ANZ. They of course have been here for quite some time. Government has a very strong relationship with ANZ. They are very much a partner with us, in particular with the revamping of the sugarcane industry in Fiji. They provide a very good facility for us. They, of course, we hope will support the Fair Credit Reporting Act, as all banks should in a regulated market, because that, of course, enhances confidence in the, not just in the credit market, but also in the financial system overall. So thank you once again, Mr. Chai, for your visit here. We, of course, are here to support you and look after you. If ANZ does anything wrong, please let us know. And we, of course, are here to thank also ANZ for this far-reaching relationship that they have drawn up. And I wish everybody a good evening. Vinaka, thank you.
Oh.